Out in force to cheer on their Kares. This, remember, a rematch of last year's championship game played in Paso Robles and won by the Eagles. Alderson approaching the ball. We're underway, and he boots it end over end. Scott Moore, 4 yards in the end zone, starts to run it out, but as he catches the ball, it's an automatic touchback, and they'll down it at the 15-yard line from where the Kares will come out. First down. Now, last time we were down here, and that was back in September, second play of the game, the quarterback, Dave Guerrero, went off left tackle, and some 65 yards later, it was in the end zone for a touchdown. So the Eagles want to try and put a stop to that sort of thing very, very early in the game.
Exactly.
Out of the huddle come the Kares. Steve Mendoza is the center. Dave Guerrero, the quarterback. Wide receiver to the right side is Ednon. Here's a pitch to Bedoya, the fullback, finding a bit of running room, breaking a tackle up over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Hidden down by John Simon on the play. Looked to break a Brett Finley attempted a tackle, and then able to get 7 yards on the play, 2nd and 3.
Gain of 7 yards up to the 20.
Don Bedoya, a senior, 6 foot, 181 pounds. Cares quickly to the line. Inside handoff. Scott Moore tries to turn the corner. He's cut off at the pass, and down he goes right at the line of scrimmage. And safety man Bobby Pence not fooled at all on that one.
Exactly. I think if the defense that Templeton is playing in, if their defensive backs can be effective if they just lay back and wait and see what develops.
Quickly to the line once more, and here's Moore hit behind the line, and down he goes. Mike Garcia wrapping him up at the 21-yard line, and it'll be a 4th down and 3. And after getting 7 on the first down play, Coach, the Eagles came up big on 2nd and 3rd down.
Well, they're definitely establishing themselves. I think that if they can control the tempo of the game, that their offensive running game will also attribute to their success tonight.
To kick it away, quarterback Guerrero back at the 8-yard line, gets the direct snap. It's on the money to kick away. John Simon deep for the Eagles, and Simon will let it bounce in front of him and then dive on the football dangerously at the 20-yard line. Coach, you were in Canoga Park last week watching the Eagles play Faith Baptist, and you know the sort of problem Simon had trying to control punts.
I know Simon very well. I was talking to him after the game, and I was telling him that I thought that he was taking his eye off of the ball, looking at the man coming down.
The Eagles have stopped the Kares on their first series, and now they come out of their huddle. Scott Stilson over the ball. The guard is Rob Booth. The tackle, Brett Finley. Wide on the left side, wide side of the field, Bobby Pence. John Beeston, the quarterback. Setbacks are split. Here's Simon off left guard, driving to around the 24-yard line before he's hitting down on the play by linebacker Norm Schultz, the junior, 5'11", 176-pounder. Gain on the play good for nearly 4. 2nd down and just about 6 coming up for Templeton at their own 24-yard line.
And Templeton doesn't have the type of team that'll fool you. They just come right at you, and you just have to make the play.
Just underway, CIF 8-man championship game in Arcadia in Southern California on a pleasant night for football. Simon gets the call, and Simon is hitting down after a gain of a couple right up the middle to the 25, make it the 26-yard line. Derek Durden involved on the stop, defensive end, 6'6", 186-pounder, and the Eagles face now with a 3rd and 4. And if their ball control is to have any sort of success early, obviously a key play.
Well, this is the kind of thing that I think Jerry really should avoid. He should try to get as much as he can on his first couple of downs, because when you get into this situation, it's definitely a passing situation for them. And I don't think that's a strong part of their game.
Bobby Pence wide on the right, in motion the other way. Alderson, they work a draw. Simon hit behind the line, and down he goes. Nose guard Mark Acosta, senior, 6', 170-pounder. And there was no blocking in the area at all on that draw play for Simon. The Eagles have to kick.
I just didn't think that shows the point that I was explaining, that I don't think that Jerry really has a lot of confidence in his passing game. That was a definite passing situation.
To kick it away, John Simon back at the 10-yard line. The deep man is Dave Guerrero. My goodness, he's the quarterback, the punter, and even the safety on punts. High snap, Simon brings it down, but he's in trouble. Rolling out to his right, throwing downfield. It's up for grabs, and it's tucked away by Scott Moore. Intended downfield for the Eagles, Anthony Mansfield. And John Simon could not kick following a high snap. He was forced to throw. His pass was incomplete. And the Kares have the football at the Eagle 24-yard line. 1st down.
Very bad break for Templeton.
Out of the huddle come the Kares. 12-0 on the season. They beat the El Paso Rebel School for Boys here last week, 60-40. And here's a handoff. Bedoya up the middle, running room, the 20-yard line, still on his feet to the 10. A cutback move to the 5-yard line. 15 yards on the play. It's first and goal. I don't think a fullback's supposed to run that well.
Well, he's a very explosive fullback. He's very nifty and powerful runner. Rio Hondo's the type of team that you just can't give those kind of breaks to. They take advantage of it.
Rio Hondo knocking on the door, 8:21 to go in a scoreless first period, but the Kares first and goal at the Eagle 5. Guerrero brings his team to the line, sends Scott in motion to the wide side of the field, to left up the middle, the fullback Bedoya driving to around the 2-yard line before he's hit down by defensive end Jim Hart. Well, Coach, one thing you can say, 6 points does not an 8-man football game make. No question about that.
Exactly.
Well, we seem to find points scored in a hurry quite often in these games. So the Kares knocking on the door, looking to draw first blood. Second and goal around the 2-yard line. Inside head up Bedoya, fumbling the football, and the Eagles recover at the 4-yard line. Bedoya had it fall off his hip, and the Eagles able to fall on it at the 4-yard line. It's first down Templeton, but they're nearly huddling up out of sight.
That's very unusual for a Rio Hondo team, because usually when you have a turnover, they usually exploit it, and it's usually 3 or 6. They have an outstanding field goal kicker also.
Guerrero do that too, do you recall?
I don't believe it's Guerrero.
I'm surprised. He does everything else.
Exactly.
Wide receiver to the right side, that's Bobby Pence. 7:25 to go, period number 1. No score, and the Eagles have stopped the drive on a big break. And here's an inside handoff, finding running room up the middle. Alderson, the 10, the 15, the 20-yard line, over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Aaron Alderson breaking right up the middle, and tremendous blocking by the center of the Templeton line.
I think that we're looking at probably the 2 best power runners in the 8-man division.
Scott Stilson, Rob Booth, Brett Finley, and junior tight end Eric Alderson really making a hole on that one. And that gain by Aaron, good to the 27-yard line, a 23-yard pickup, first down Eagles. Here's Simon behind Alderson, turning the corner, the 30-yard line, up to the 35-yard line. The Eagles get 7, make it 8 more on the play. It'll be a second down and 2. You know, Dan, when you talk about breaks and momentum, goodness, the Eagles have a bad snap, and they nearly give up a touchdown, but suddenly there's a fumble, and now the Eagles are moving upfield.
That's the way this game is played. You just have to take advantage of many breaks. That little ball isn't reading the shape the way that it is. It'll bounce any direction.
Midway through period number 1, no score in Southern California. On a wing to the left is Zyman. Split to the right is Bobby Pence, and here's movement in the Templeton line is Brett Finley. The right tackle was clearly looking to put a block on the nose guard prior to the snap, and we get our first penalty of the game against Templeton, and it's a rather painful one when you think about it, Dan. Instead of 2nd and 2, it becomes 2nd and 7.
Right, it puts Templeton into a situation where if they don't make a large running play here, that they have to put the ball in the air, and I think that's the thing that Jerry wants to avoid.
There's a little bit of enthusiasm here tonight.
Exactly.
Boy, you really feel it in the air tonight. It's crisp and cool, probably in the mid-50s, crystal clear as we mentioned. In Arcadia, wide receiver to the right side for the Eagles is Justin Vance. That's the short side of the field. 2nd and 7, mix up in the backfield. Beeston on a keeper. Throws to Alderson. Has him at the midfield 40-yard line. First down. He drives in the Care territory. Forced out of bounds right in front of us. Inside the Care 39-yard line. They'll spot the football right at the 39. First down Eagles on a busted play.
You know, I really don't believe that was a busted play. He looked like he was faking to Alderson. Zyman coming through, and Alderson had released and gone out for a pass. So it really didn't look like it was a broken play.
Aaron certainly was open downfield. Looked like there was some bumping in the backfield.
Exactly. There was confusion.
Beeston and Zyman. First down Eagles, their deepest penetration. Beeston wants to throw. His pass is deflected and intercepted by the Kares. They're at the 30-yard line, the 35 on the far side, the 40 forced out of bounds at the Eagle 35-yard line. John Weiss, who was able to intercept the deflected pass and take it downfield for Bobby Pence. And it just goes to show you what a defensive lineman coming in with his hands up can create.
Right.
Batted in the air by number 35.
The Templeton is really surprising me as they came out and threw 2 passes in a row. It really surprised me. I wasn't expecting them to do that. They have such a good running game.
Well, they're not reluctant to throw the football, that's for sure. Beeston has completed 52% of his passes on a keeper. Here's Guerrero. It's an option. He's got his man down the sideline. More the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Rio Hondo.
That's a bread and butter play for Rio Hondo all year long, that option.
Guerrero got 10 yards of it himself, and then he had his pitch man available to him, and Moore took it the rest of the way.
Well, what it is a veer option, and they fake to a fullback coming through, and they try to close everybody in. And if they close in on the fullback, he options outside. He's very effective at running that play.
Well, a 35-yard touchdown run by Moore, and the Kares are leading our ball game 6-0. So the momentum has swung not once, not twice, but really 3 times in the game. The bad Eagles snap on a punt, setting the Kares up. The Kares subsequent fumble, and then the very next, a couple of plays later, an interception by the Kares' John Weiss, and of course the play later, a touchdown from 35 yards away, and a bit of a delay as some of the officials huddle up on the near sideline, and I think they're trying to determine who's to stand where as the Kares try their PAT. The kicker is Jeff Whiting out of the hold of Scott Moore. Or is it Adon?
This could very easily be a fake, because they definitely do this a lot.
Soccer style. Nope, they're going to kick it. He's got plenty of distance. The kick is right through the middle as they come up the field. 5:33 to go. Period number 1. Rio Hondo 7, Templeton nothing. We'll take a break and come right back. All right, here's the kickoff by the Kares from right to left. And the boot is played by Bobby Pence at the 10, angles up the middle, the 20 to the 30-yard line, hitting down at the 30 as the kick by the kick by Rio Hondo's Mark Acosta was returned by Bobby Pence to the 30-yard line. And, Coach, where do you try and get a kickoff out in terms of 8-man football? What's considered good field position?
Well, if you can get it out to the 30 or 40-yard line, then it's very good field position. Right now, I think that the Templeton offense can just about do anything they want to from this position.
Bobby Pence wide on the right side. That is the short side of the field with the ball spotted at the hash mark on the right. Aaron Alderson gets the call and drives for a couple of yards before he's hit down by Mark Acosta, the nose guard on the play. Gain of 2. You know, it's interesting from an opposing coach's point of view, which is what you give us this evening. You're feeling that Templeton really is reluctant to throw the football and would prefer not to, and maybe we can talk about this as the game goes along, because the Eagles have, of course, had success doing a lot of things this season, perhaps mainly running, but certainly throwing the football too. Second down play, 2nd down and 8. Zyman and Alderson, unbalanced backfield. They give it to Aaron. He's the second man through. Breaks the tackle, finds running room down the left side. 40-yard line down to the Kares 35. Forced the far side. It is a first down at the Kares 30-yard line. Aaron for 18 on the play. So earlier he had a 23-yard run. The Eagles have their deepest penetration, the Kares 30-yard line.
I think that if Templeton establishes their running game, that the passing will open. I just don't think that they have an explosive enough passing team to start right out passing. And with backs like Zyman and Alderson, you just have to put the ball on the ground and establish yourself.
Well, the Eagles obviously agreeing with you, keeping it mainly on the ground. 4:15 to go in the first. 7-0 Rio Hondo from the 30-yard line. Beeston on a pitch to Zyman. Running room around the right side, the 25, the 20. Still in bounds inside the 15-yard line, and he goes there. 15 more for the Eagles. We'll see where they spot the football. It's at the 14-yard line. 16 yards for Zyman on the play, and the Eagles on the way perhaps to answering the challenge.
Well, you're looking at Tri-County football now. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, no doubt about it, boy. They play it rough up there. They have a reputation, don't they, in Southern California? When you're going to play a Tri-County team, prepare to be hit.
Right. Every time we played them, we expected that, and we told our kids that. They have to play a really tough, aggressive game.
Scott Stilson over the ball, pitch out Alderson. Here's Zyman blocking for him. He dropped the football loose on the far side. They pile up, and it appeared the Eagles might have been able to fall on it as they unpile at the 12-yard line. The official does indicate it is a second down play, so the Eagles gain a couple on the play as John Beeston, the quarterback, I believe, was the man who recovered the fumble by Aaron Alderson on that one. So the Eagles get a break there as they were driving and saw the football pop loose, and some hearts, I know, wound up in some mouths on the far side for the folks from the North County who've traveled down here this evening. Second down play for the Eagles. As a matter of fact, they spot the football right back at the 14-yard line, so it's 2nd and 10. Zyman and Alderson in the backfield. They pitch it out to Alderson. Breaks the tackle, spins to the 10, drives to the 8-yard line, getting 6 on the play. And the Eagles will be faced with a difficult 3rd down and 4. And it gets tougher, Coach, for the short yardage plays, doesn't it, as you get closer to the end zone?
At this point, it does. Templeton has been running their sweeps with Alderson leading and Zyman, and I think that's been very effective.
Well, we shall see what the Eagles come up with 3rd and 4. Now, of course, this is really a two-play situation, as our buddy Greg Welsh would say, because if the Eagles don't make it on this down, they certainly would go for it on fourth down. That is discounting the possibility of a field goal, which perhaps isn't really the way to look at it right now. All right, 3rd down and 4 from the 8. Pitch out. Here's Lyman. Hit behind the line. Down on a knee. They say he was down, indeed, behind the 10 at the 12-yard line. Now the Eagles are faced with a 3rd down and 8 back at the 12. And the tackle made by that tough nose guard, Mark Acosta, senior, 6 foot 170. Always amazes me, Coach, when you find guys without great size playing right up on the nose. You know they've got to have something special.
Quickness.
Mark Acosta, 6 foot 170 pounds, and also, I guess, enjoy contact. All right, here they come. Stilson to the line. 4th down and 8 around the 12-yard line. Beeston on a spin around, passing over the middle. It's behind Bobby Pence. It's incomplete. And boy, Dan Pride looks like a prophet now because the Eagle passing game does not appear to be all that potent as the Kares have held.
Whenever Templeton gets into a passing situation, I think that it's just difficult for them. I guess if I was the coach at Templeton, I probably would have the same problem. If I had 2 outstanding running backs like Alderson and Simon, I would definitely use them.
Well, you'd really like to be in a situation as an opposing coach, I guess, then when you're forcing the Eagles to throw the football.
Right.
Don Adon is wide on the left side. Kares have it. They lead 7-0. 1:46 to play in the first. Here's a pitch out. Scott Moore looking to turn the corner on the near side. Does up over the 15, over the 20, forced out of bounds. Really out of our line of sight as the fans block us off, and the ball appears to be around the 22 or 23-yard line. It is a 1st down at the 24-yard line. So give them about 12 on that one to the 24-yard line, and the Kares get themselves out of a hole quickly with a 12-yard run around the left side by their quick tailback, Scott Moore. Now, Don Adon is wide on the right side on the 1st down play at the Eagle 24. Guerrero brings his team up. Very tight offensive set with the 2 running backs just a yard or 2 behind them. They give it to the fullback, Bedoya breaks the tackle, 25-30, right up the middle. 1st down, 35, 37-yard line. Eagles guilty perhaps of a little sloppy tackling that time.
Several of them missed a tackle.
The gain to the 38-yard line on the play. It'll be 1st down. And the Kares showing they can run the football, and they, remember, are a big play team.
Bedoya is a very strong runner.
He really does look good. The Kares answer to Aaron Alderson. 8 on wide. They give it to Bedoya. Again, they fumble the ball. It's loose. The Eagles recover at the 38-yard line. Falling on the football, Mike Garcia. And the Eagles get another tremendous break. That is the 2nd fumble they've recovered. Eagle ball at the Care 37-yard line. And the Eagles certainly getting their chances.
I think right now, Jerry really wants to get something out of this. If he can turn this into a touchdown, I think he'll feel a lot better.
Not much of a wind as opposed to last week at Faith Baptist in Canoga Park, and we saw Harry Morgan here, their coach this evening, watching our football game. So when they do indeed change directions, it won't mean all that much. 38 seconds to play in the first. 7-0 Rio Hondo. Beeston on a gift assignment off left tackle to the 35-yard line, piled upon there by linebacker Norm Schultz. Gain good for about 3 on the play. 2nd down, and it may have been the final play of the period. We'll see as Beeston gets a little direct communication from Jerry Reynolds on the far side. Clock shows 18 seconds, so we're in an iffy situation depending upon how quickly the Eagles break their huddle. 2nd down play, 2nd and 7. Football to Care 35. Eagles come to the line with 6. And your guess is as good as mine right now. 3 seconds, 2. Beeston calling signals. And here comes the horn. Yeah, that's what it is. A horn in the background. We do not get the playoff. After 1, Rio Hondo 7, the Eagles nothing. Back for the second 12 minutes in just a moment. On the 2nd down play to start the second period, Beeston over the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for Bobby Pence. And stepping in rather nicely there was John Weiss. Now, that's a quick slant over the middle, a play that's often open. Did not look to be open that time. Beeston would have really had to thread the needle.
I think Jerry's setting something up with his passing game because he had Alderson flanked way out to the left that time. And they only had 1 back in the set, which was Alderson.
Well, if you'd seen Templeton against Shandon and against Capistrano Valley Christian marching up and down the field. You wouldn't believe they could go 12 minutes without scoring, but indeed they have. They trail 7-0, big 3rd and 8. Beeston straight back to throw, has time, pump fakes again, and here comes the curtain. Down he goes at the 37-yard line, and Coach, I think he had time that time. He was able to pump fake twice, but finally nobody was open, and ultimately the defenders were able to come in on him.
The receivers recovered.
They really were downfield nicely, so whatever Jerry was setting up, the Kares were very much aware.
Well, they had Simon in a slot then, and that's almost a definite passing situation with the one remaining back there. You don't look for a pass.
So the Eagles cannot take advantage of the fumble at midfield. It did stop the Kare drive, and it might change field position as Zyman set to kick from his own 30, and Guerrero's back at the 10 to receive. This snap is on the money. John runs up and kicks a ground ball right up the middle. That hits an Eagle, is recovered by Schultz at the 30, and he carries it back to the 35-yard line. And John Zyman, he took an inordinate amount of steps in kicking that ball.
From their own 34.
Well, Rio Hondo definitely has had a lot of breaks tonight. They've had an awful lot of breaks. I don't think that Templeton can continue to give Rio Hondo these type of breaks. So they're the type of team that can explode on you at any minute.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. On the other hand, the Eagles have recovered a couple of fumbles, so breaks have gone each way. Dave Guerrero brings his team to the line, 1st down. Guerrero on a give to Scott Moore, looking to turn the corner. He's jersey tackled right in front of us after a gain of 3 at the 37-yard line. In the area, Jim Hart, the defensive end on the left side, who slid off nicely to beat Moore to the corner and knock him down right at the 37, right in front of us. It'll be a 2nd down and 7.
Jim Hart made an outstanding play then.
Really did, boy. If you can beat Moore to the corner, you've accomplished something. Quickly, Mendoza comes out over the ball. Derek Durden is the tight end. Boy, he can go deep, and we have not really seen him involved in the offense yet. 8 on wide to the left. They give it off to Bedoya, and one of the Eagles was in the backfield, Mike Garcia, so quickly they barely were able to negotiate the handoff. And then Bedoya dove to the midfield 40-yard line for 3 more on the play, setting up a 3rd down and 4. And boy, Garcia was in the backfield in a hurry.
It was just Bedoya's strength then that got the 3 yards for them.
Almost looked like Guerrero was handing it off to either Garcia or Bedoya, and Bedoya's strength, as you alluded to, probably enabling him to grab the ball and hold on. All right, here's a 3rd down and 4, right at the 40-yard line, big play. And they go to the fullback again, running room, 1st down and more. Here's Bedoya, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, all the way to the 12-yard line, 1st down. Well, a short yardage play that gets a lot more because the Eagles were stacked up close.
Well, you almost have to key Bedoya. That's the thing that I think Rio tries to establish. They have you thinking outside, and they'll pop the big guy up the middle.
Well, you know, seeing that first game, the last thing in the world I would have thought would be to key Bedoya.
Well, I think he got stronger as the year went along.
Well, out of the huddle come the Kares. Deep penetration now all the way to the Templeton 14-yard line. 8 on wide to the left side as Dave Guerrero, the junior quarterback, calls signals and draws the Eagles offside as Brett Finley comes crashing in on Mendoza. And we'll see if one of the offensive players moved or if indeed the Eagles are guilty. Templeton giving ground, and the 5-yard walk-off is against them to the 9-yard line, setting up a 1st down and 5 at the 9.
That was a very bad penalty for Templeton at this point.
An untimely penalty, no question about that. 7-0. Rio Hondo leads. 9:19 to go till halftime. At halftime news from ABC, and then Dan and I will catch our breath a little bit, and we'll have a chance to analyze the first half and perhaps make a prediction or two on what we expect to see in the second. Here's a give to Moore, hit behind the line. Oh, Mike Garcia, the defensive tackle, belted him down at the 14-yard line, and the Eagles quickly gained back the 5. They lost via the penalty, setting up a 2nd and 10 back at the 14. What a play by Garcia.
There's another one was Templeton, outstanding quick lineman.
Mike 5'9", 150-pound junior. Boy, you'd think with size like that, the Eagles would be looking at a whole bunch of guys who want to play wide receiver. Not the case, not by a long shot. Here's a 2nd down and 10 play at the 14 in motion to the far side. Moore, that's the wide side of the field. Guerrero to throw. Looking for Bedoya. The fullback has him out of the backfield. Flag on the play. He's to the 10. Good move to the 5 all the way. Touchdown, but remember, a penalty marker thrown.
I think that penalty is going to be against Templeton. There was a block downfield on Durden, a receiver, in the middle of the field.
We shall see. The penalty did, flag was thrown downfield, as Dan mentioned. Kares indicating the touchdown will stand, and the officials are indicating personal foul holding call against Templeton. Touchdown, Rio Hondo.
Durden broke across the middle. It's a big 6'6" tight end that they have. He broke across the middle, and one of the Templeton players got his feet tangled up together, and he fell, and so they called, I guess, an interference call.
So it winds up as a 14-yard touchdown pass to Bedoya. And now it's 13-0. Here's the extra point attempt, and the kick on the way. Lots of distance by that soccer-style kicker. The kick is good. The extra point made by Whittick as they come up the field with 8:24 to go in the first half. Rio Hondo 14, the Eagles nothing. We'll be right back. We shall see if Adon, or Acosta rather, Mark Acosta, agrees. And Coach Randy Johnson on the near side. It's everybody up for the kickoff. 14-0 Rio Hondo. 8 minutes, 24 seconds to go in the second. And now the officials getting their act together, make sure they're all positioned correctly. And we shall see if indeed they do onside kick. Eagles have linemen up around the 25-yard line. Would you onside kick here, the coach?
Well, I think with a 14-0 lead, I'd boot it in the end zone now, so Templeton have about 80 yards to go.
Well, here we go, and he boots the ground ball. Well, a little bit deeper, played by one of the Eagles at the 10-yard line. Zyman along the sideline, cuts back toward the middle of the field, and is tripped up on the play by Rio Hondo's Norman Shintaku. And Shintaku might have saved the day on that one.
Exactly. That's the reason I wouldn't onside kick. On an onside kick, you get your people spread it all over the field. All he has to do is get by one tackler, and he could break it for a touchdown.
He kicked the ground ball, but booted it a little bit harder than a real onside kick, I think. All right, first down for the Eagles. They've got the football deep in their own territory at the 13-yard line. And, Coach, and maybe you can talk about this in just a moment, you feel the Eagles at a real disadvantage now because in a position where perhaps they really do have to start throwing the football. They're down 14-zip. Beeston instead up the middle, John Zyman running room over the 20 to the 22-yard line. And perhaps Jerry Reynolds indicating he plans to stay with his game plan at least for a while longer as the Eagles get about 8 on that one, setting up a 2nd and 2.
Well, it's really early in the game, and I can't really second-guess Jerry, but I'm sure he wants to put a score on the board before halftime.
Football to the 22-yard line from where it'll be 2nd down and 2 as Zyman just got 8 on that one. Out of the huddle come the Eagles. Wide receiver to the right side. I believe that's Justin Vance in the game. Eagles in the eye now. They give it to the fullback Alderson for the first down and more. Breaks the tackle, 25, 30, 35-yard line, all the way up to the 39-yard line of Rio Hondo before he's body blocked out of bounds nicely on the play by the Rio Hondo defensive back, John Pettit. 5'8", 134-pound safety, but the Eagles have come up with a first down at the 39-yard line, still in their own territory.
Surprisingly, right now, I think that if Templeton threw a pass right now, they would probably complete it.
Well, we shall see.
I think Rio Hondo's really geared up for the run now.
Yeah, they have 7 men at the line of scrimmage and one man back about 15 yards. That's Pettit, who just made the tackle, but their cornerbacks are really playing up close. Wide to the right, Bobby Pence. And on a pitch, here's the pitch out to Zyman, turns the corner, 30-yard line, still in bounds, all the way down to the Rio Hondo 23-yard line. So the Eagles looking to answer back and driving the football now. They come up with 17 more on the sweep around the right side by John Zyman, who coming into the game needed some 54 yards to go over the 2,000-yard mark in rushing this season. He might be close now.
Well, that's 3 first downs in a row. You know, Templeton is a proud team. They're the champions, and they want to remain the champions, and they're really showing some class now by driving this ball down the field.
And we'll see if they can continue, because all that counts is what they put up on the scoreboard, and so far the Eagles have nothing to show for their efforts. Up the middle, Alderson, a leap over the initial tackler, driving inside the 20 to the 17 to the 16-yard line. Aaron for 7, 2nd down and 3 coming up. Well, Coach, last year, of course, when you were the head man at Montclair Prep, this Rio Hondo team sort of ambushed you on a collision course with the Eagles.
Yes, we thought that we had a quality team last year. We came down here, and it was a day when it really pouring down raining, and we just couldn't do anything right.
Rough place to win when you come down here to play the Kares.
A very tough place to win.
5:54 to play in the first half. 14-0 Rio Hondo. 2nd and 3, pitch out. Alderson follows his blocker nicely, driving, but hitting down to yards short of the first down, I think. We'll see where they spot the football. They'll put it right around the 17-yard line, and, well, they were indicating timeout, which might have said they want to measure. Well, they had to get very close to where they are. Now, check me. I'm 5 yards off. They're inside the 15 at the 13-yard line, and they are indeed close enough to ask for a measurement. It'll either be first down for Templeton at the 13-yard line or a third down playing very short yardage, and here comes the chain gang for the initial appearance of the evening.
Very close.
Yeah, it really does. This field is marked beautifully, by the way. All the yard lines individually marked. They missed it by about, well, they started to say half a foot, and now it looks like it's just an inch or two. So even less than 6 inches.
This is a great passing situation here. Like I said, I don't know whether Jerry has that much confidence in his passing game, but third down and 2, third down in inches. It's a great situation here to really surprise Rio Hondo, because I don't think that they're expecting them to pass here.
We'll see. Third and very short yardage. If you don't make it, if you do pass, of course, you can come down on fourth down, but we shall see what the Eagles decide to do. Big gap in the offensive line is a pitch to Zyman looking to sweep. Turns the corner. First down, more than the 10, the 5 to the goal line. He's hitting down inside the 1-yard line. It's first and goal inside the 1 at the half-yard line, and the Eagles on a sweep. And the key to the play was the speed of Zyman beating the linebacker, Norm Schultz.
And a great block by Alderson.
Well, that's par for the course. You almost stop announcing those. First down.
This is the play I was talking about earlier, that pitch to the outside with Alderson leading.
First down and goal for the Eagles. By far their deepest penetration inside the Rio 1. They're in the eye. Alderson in front of Zyman. Beeston gives it off to Zyman. Hit behind the line, and down he goes. And the Eagles tried to go the long way around as Norm Schultz was able to knife in, and down Zyman back at the 2-yard line. So instead of going right up the middle for half a yard or even less, the Eagles tried a bit of a sweep on that one, and they lost a little over 2 yards on the play. They're going to spot that ball back at the 3-yard line from where it's second and goal, and that really does change things.
I think it's about time to give it to the big guy.
Yeah, forget about him blocking for Zyman, and
give it to the big guy. He'll
muscle
push
man Alderson do it. All right, we shall see. 14-0 Rio Hondo, 4:25 to go, first half. Out of the huddle they come. They're in the eye, and they play action. They fake it. It's the quarterback, Pence, keeping the ball. Touchdown, walking into the end zone around the left end. Bobby Pence, who had come in to play quarterback there and switched places with John Beeston, and Bobby Pence, an Eagle touchdown, and the Templeton Eagles on the board for the first time in our game. It's 14-6.
I think Templeton's in a real good situation now. They really showed themselves. They showed that they still want to remain champions. They marched right down the field and put the score on the board.
Well, here's a key extra point because Rio Hondo's made their 2. Aaron Alderson, who kicked well last week, at least made a 31-yard field goal out of Beeston's hold. Left-footed, straight-on kicker. There's the snap. The kick is blocked. Breaking through for Rio Hondo, Dave Guerrero to block the kick. And as they come up the field with 4:18 to go till halftime, Rio Hondo leads 14-6, and we will take a break. Back in Arcadia, where the Eagles have just marched 67 yards, answering the touchdown scored by Rio. They took a little over 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 7 seconds to be precise to do it, and scored on a 1-yard walk around the end by Bobby Pence. Boy, that was easy for Bobby.
Totally had Rio Hondo fooled. At that point, was a great time for that play. That was a tremendous call by Jerry.
All right, awaiting the kickoff by Alderson. From right to left, an onside kick attempt. It's fallen upon by one of the Kares at the 37-yard line. He quickly covered up. It's Don Bedoya. And notice they had a skill player, a fullback, up close to guard against that possibility. And Bedoya had no trouble covering up, and the Kares with good field position at their own 37-yard line.
Again, I really hate to second-guess coaches because I know what it's like to be in the position. But I just didn't understand the onside kick then.
Well, the Eagles tried it, came up empty. Boy, you never look good when something doesn't work. Ray Malavasi found that out a couple of times last night. All right, out of the huddle comes Rio. Dave Guerrero, the quarterback, on a pitch to Moore. Now Guerrero leading the blocking, turns the corner, the 40, the 35, forced out of bounds. Out of our view on the near side, blocked off by the standing Rio fans. Somewhere inside the 35, they spot it right at the 34-yard line, 9 yards on the play. And it'll be a 2nd down and 1 coming up for Rio Hondo. Boy, Moore's got good speed. He really does.
Tremendous speed.
How do you compare him with Zyman?
Ball player. Well, Zyman, I think, is a different type of runner. I don't think that he's as quick. He's more of a powerful slashing runner.
2nd down and a yard at the 34. So here's a down where Rio can do virtually anything. 8 on wide to the right. And here's a fake give. They're running the option. The quarterback Carrero for the first down around the left side inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Alderson and Bobby Penn stop him there. Boy, the option is a very tough play to defense against.
Very tough, especially if you have a good quarterback like Guerrero. Guerrero knows just how to fake the ball. He fakes it into that fullback, and as soon as the end suckers in, he's around him.
KPRL Paso Robles, we're following our game. Roger Bland and Tom Gryden will bring you Paso Robles Bearcat basketball, coming to you from Morro Bay against Sierra Union High School. That's a winner's bracket game in the Ted C. Harding tournament. Remember, you'll hear it right after our game tonight. First down play, they're going to pitch it out to Moore. Gets a block, turns the corner, 25, inside the 20, and forced out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. They're going to spot the football at the 21-yard line. Say went out of bounds there. Up, they're going to put it right at the 20-yard line. Nose at the 20. We are totally dependent on the officials spotting the football when they come around this near side as the stands jet out right to the sideline. And we are totally blocked off when anybody stands up, and for that matter, even when they don't. It's a gain of 7, second down and 3 at the 20. Rio Hondo looking to answer the Templeton touchdown now. They lead 14-6. And here's a give to Bedoya up the middle for the first down, driving to the 15-yard line. Mike Garcia stopped him on the play, one-on-one at the 15-yard line. First down, Rio. And if Templeton showed their mettle, so too are the Kares coming right back.
Again, I think that onside kick made a big difference. I wouldn't have gave him, I think, that field position.
Well, it's a key, no question about it. But Jerry Reynolds took a chance, and right now he's got to go out and talk to his defense as the Eagles need a timeout. The Kares have a first down at the Eagle 15-yard line. Timeout on the field, 3:23 to go till halftime, 14-6 Rio Hondo, and we'll be right back.
Outside, 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 inside. You know, that time on that play when Bedoya went up the middle a while ago, they had Alderson completely fooled. He had flown to the outside.
They're a big play team that's played, I think, rather conservatively. And they're keeping the ball on the ground, and they're running it very well. They have not thrown to their wide receiver, Adon, who scored 2 long touchdowns last time the Eagles were here. They've not thrown a pass to their tight end, who caught a long touchdown. And now as Rio comes to the line, they're forced to call a timeout, as apparently the Eagle defense surprised them just a little bit, and that gives Jerry Reynolds a chance to go back out there and Randy Johnson to do the same. So back-to-back timeouts in the chess game, and that's what coaching is it not?
It's without a doubt a chess game. What's really surprising me tonight is I'm surprised that Rio Hondo isn't throwing the ball more. I think that they decided that they're going to establish their running game, and they're doing quite a good job of it.
They really are. I think the Jerry Reynolds told us on our morning sports this morning on KPRL that the key to the game had to be stopping this team's big play offense. He said specifically, we stopped their running game last time, no problem there. The problem was they hit us over the top. And of course, a long gainer on the ground with Guerrero taking it off tackle, running the option, keeping the football for 65 yards. Last time the Eagles were here and lost. But Rio's completely changed that around.
Well, Randall Johnson's the type of coach. He may come out the second half, and all you may see is the ball in the air.
Well, I think both teams, and it's always interesting when each team has revenge as a factor, and it was all well and good for Rio Hondo to beat the Eagles the second game of this season in a non-league and perhaps even relatively unimportant game in the scheme of the season, but last year's championship game when the Kares had to make the bus trip very much in their mind, and the Eagles perhaps paying the price.
I think this year's team is a stronger team than you've seen last year at Rio Hondo.
Well, Guerrero was a sophomore last year. He played quarterback, so just having another year under his belt has to make them better. In motion, far side, Moore. Here's a first down play at the 15. Guerrero to throw, now forced out of the pocket, rolling to the left. In trouble, down he goes at the 18-yard line. Aaron Alderson cut him off, and Aaron was charging at him full speed, and Guerrero, a right-handed thrower, forced to roll to his left, could not be operating at full speed, and Aaron ran him down. They lose 3, second down and 13 back at the 18.
Aaron covers the field as good as any linebacker I've seen at this level.
Well, that's how you can play a 4-1-3 when you have a linebacker in the middle who's going to take care of business like Alderson. Clock shows 2:51 to go till halftime. Moore on a sweep to the right side, hit behind the line by John Beeston. And whatever Jerry Reynolds told his defense, they've done the job 2 consecutive plays. That time they lose 6 more on the play. Back to the 24-yard line. They've got to get all the way to the 5 for a first down, setting up a 3rd and 19.
The Templeton team is a proud team, and I know they're not going to let down, that's for sure.
Eagles in their road white uniforms, green numerals, green helmets, and the white trim. And out of the huddle come the Kares 3rd and 19. Play action fake by Guerrero. Forcing the ball downfield. He's got his man Bedoya breaking a tackle, but down he goes around the 11 or 10-yard line. The pass for the fullback Bedoya coming out of the backfield, hitting him downfield about 10 yards on the right side. And he forced his way down to the 9-yard line, they say, from where it'll be a 4th down and just about 4 at the 9. So the Kares take care of their own business on that play and come up with a substantial gain of about 15 yards. 4th down before the Kares call the play. They want time. Big 4th down play, staring everybody in the face. Timeout on the field. 1:43 to go till halftime. Oh, it's going to be a mighty big play. 14-6 Rio Hondo, back in 30 seconds.
Hey, I really don't know. I'm sure I would think in this situation that Rio will come out with a very tricky play, or either they'll run their option. They've had some success with that option.
All right, let's see what they come up with. Wide receiver to the right is Adon. I believe they have 2 tight ends in there. Wide man in motion is Moore. Back to throw Guerrero. Deep drop, setting up a pass on the far side. Oh, what a catch at the 5-yard line by Bedoya. And it all depends where they spot the football. Bedoya, a diving catch right around the 5 on the far side. No way we can call it from here. And it's close enough to call for a measurement. Bedoya, a diving catch at around the 5-yard line. Here comes the chain. It's either 1st and goal or the Eagles have held. They extend the sticks, and Rio Hondo has a 1st and goal.
Very big play.
That was a heck of a catch, an unbelievable catch by Bedoya, throwing his body through the air, extending his arms, and coming up with a football right at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal at the 5.
What we're seeing is championship play here.
90 seconds, 9-0 to go till halftime. 14-6 Rio Hondo, but they're knocking on the door again. And up the middle they go. Bedoya is hit at the line, and down he goes. There's nothing there but white-shirted and green-trimmed Eagle defenders. Alderson, Brett Finley involved on the tackle. It'll be a 2nd down and goal right around the 5-yard line again. Boy, I don't know. Randy Johnson came up with a relatively tricky play, having his quarterback take a deep drop and roll to the left. But if I were him, I'd throw that play away because Bedoya saved his life on that catch. 2nd and goal. Here's a pitch out. Moore looks to turn the corner, racing for the flag, driving, touchdown.
Good.
I guess that's for us. Thank you very much. Touchdown for Rio Hondo, as Scott Moore's speed was too much for anybody to catch up to him. And the Eagles are check me now, the Kares are on the board again, and they've extended their lead to 20-6 with 50 seconds to go. On the extra point attempt by Whittick, this time is a floater that just does get over the crossbar. It's good, not as pretty as his others, but good nonetheless. And as they come back up the field, 51 seconds to go till halftime, 21-6. And Scott Moore made the play in the touchdown, and the Kares came back and scored.
On that big play for the 1st down, Randall, he released every back in his backfield.
He sure did, and the Rio folks taking care of us with some warm coffee, which we certainly appreciate here this evening as you're in tune with KPRL and Paso Robles. Yeah, you released everybody and just that Moore race for the corner, eh?
Well, so you can do that when you have a kid like a quarterback who's able to maneuver around in the pocket. And he rolled out to the side, and he had all his receivers out.
21-6. And Acosta's kick from left to right is a bomb, end over end into the end zone. Some 8 yards deep on a fly, and the Eagles will start out 1st down at their own 15-yard line. At halftime news from ABC, Bill Bordeaux will bring us up to date on some professional basketball and some professional sports news, and perhaps even have a score on the Atascadero playoff game. I'd be interested in hearing that one as they're at home this evening entertaining Paris High School. And then we'll be back, of course, for the second half of play, and Dan and I will be talking about what we saw in the first half. All right, let's see how the Eagles choose to play it with 51 seconds, their own 15. They're going to work a counter to Zion, hit at the line, driving forward for a couple. Hit and downed on the play by Rio Hondo's John Weiss, right around the 17-yard line. 2nd down and just about 8 coming up. And the Eagles, I think, are content this deep in their own territory to run another play and go into halftime and seek to regroup and work out the kinks from their long bus trip. Boy, I got into this ball game tonight about 10 minutes before airtime, involved in one of the most delightful and monumental Southern California traffic jams. Boy, oh boy, it's a way of life down here. Inside handoff on a counter design, but that's not going anywhere. And John Weiss, a linebacker, just faded with him and knocked him down. And that should be the final play of our half. We have come to halftime. We're under 6 seconds now. Clock continues to run. Nobody's going to stop at halftime in Arcadia. Rio Hondo leads 21-6. We'll recap the scoring in a moment. 1-yard line, driving 67 yards for a touchdown. Bobby Pence going in at quarterback with a 1-yard run, a 1-yard walk really around the left end. That came with 4:18 to go, 4 minutes after the Rio touchdown. The PAT attempt, however, was blocked by Dave Guerrero off the toe.